There's a place where taking a bath alone can get you skinned alive. Where swimming in June is basically a death sentence. Where sunlight won't save you, the deadliest monster here hunts at noon. Welcome to the old Slavic village, home of the most underrated monsters in world mythology. You've collected the Greek monsters, the Norse ones, the Japanese ones, but these never made it into your video games. And here's the twist that makes Slavic mythology darker than all of them. Almost every monster on this list used to be a person. So no alphabetical list today. We're going to survive one full day and one full year in this village, room by room, hour by hour. I'll show you exactly who's waiting for you, where and when they come. We start at night, inside the house, which you'd think is the safe zone. It's not. Midnight. The village is asleep, and behind your stove, something is watching you. The Domovoy, the house spirit. Small, hairy, shaped like a tiny old man, and here's the wild part. He's probably your great-great-grandfather. The Slavs believe the founding ancestor of a family never really left. He stayed in the walls. Which makes the Domovoy the only monster in this entire video who's on your side, if you follow the rules. Keep the house clean, leave him bread and salt, don't swear near the stove. Do that, and he guards your family and warns you before disaster strikes. Break the rules, and it starts small. Keys disappear, dishes rattle. Your horses are found at dawn exhausted, manes braided into knots. He's been riding them all night. Seriously anger him, and he comes while you sleep and presses down on your chest. Families took him so seriously that when they moved, they'd invite him into an old boot and carry him to the new house. Because a house without a Domovoy isn't safe, it's vacant. And in this world, vacant space gets filled. For example, by his wife, the Kikimora, a twisted little woman behind the stove who comes out at night to spin thread. Sounds harmless until you learn the rule. If you ever actually see her spinning, someone in your house is about to die. And where does a Kikimora come from? From children who died unbaptized, or babies cursed by their own mothers. Remember that. Die the wrong way, come back wrong. That's the first law of Slavic mythology, and it will keep coming back for the rest of this video. So the house is fine, as long as you behave. But there's one building in your own yard where even the Domovoy refuses to go. And your family walks in there every week, voluntarily. Morning, time to wash up, which means the banya, the bathhouse. To the old Slavs, this was not a spa. It's where women gave birth, where the sick were washed, where the dead were prepared for burial. A room standing right on the border between this world and the next, and the only building where icons and crosses were not allowed. Perfect real estate for something ancient, the Bannik. A naked old man plastered with wet birch leaves, and his rules are short. You can steam once, you can steam twice. The third steam belongs to him. Never bathe after midnight, never bathe alone, and when you leave him water and soap. Break the rules, and the Bannik doesn't hide your keys. He throws boiling water. He hurls red-hot stones off the stove. And in the darkest stories, he peels the skin off your body like a glove and hangs it on the wall. When villagers found someone who fell asleep in the banya and never woke up, today we'd say carbon monoxide. They said his name. Okay, you survived the night and the bath. The sun is up, it's a gorgeous summer day, statistically the safest time to exist, which is exactly why the next monster hunts at high noon. Noon. The fields are golden, everyone's working. This should be the safe part of the day. Vampires burn in sunlight, ghosts fade at dawn. That's the rule everywhere on Earth, except here. Because walking through the rye, straight at you, is a tall woman in white. Poludnitsa, the Lady Midday, the only demon in world mythology with office hours. Exactly noon to 1, open field, brightest sun of the day, sickle in hand. Catch her attention and she can twist your neck, take your head off, or do something stranger. She starts asking riddles about flax, weaving, the harvest. Answer wrong, and you lose your mind on the spot. Farmers who dropped dead at midday, people found wandering the rye mumbling nonsense, that wasn't the sun, that was her. And honestly, she might be the smartest piece of folklore in this video, because the Lady Midday is a rule with a face. Don't work through the hottest hour, or the field will kill you. The Slavs didn't have a word for sunstroke. They had a woman in white. So you take your break, you survive the field. But your cattle wandered toward the tree line, and that's where the boss of the daytime lives, the forest. For the Slavs, this was the border of the human world, and it had an owner, the Leshy. He can be as small as grass or as tall as the tallest pine. He grows to match his surroundings. Skin of bark, hair of moss, and 2 ways to spot him. His shadow falls the wrong way, and his shoes are on the wrong feet. The Leshy doesn't usually kill you. That's what makes him scary. He plays with you. You walk into woods you've known your whole life, and suddenly nothing looks familiar. You walk straight and end up where you started. He's circling you and laughing in the voices of people you know who are not there. Some people were led like this for days. Some never came back. But here's what I love about the Leshy. He's a game with actual mechanics, and there's an exploit. If you realize you're being circled, stop. Take off your clothes and put them back on inside out. Shoes on the wrong feet. Mirror yourself like him, and the forest snaps back to normal. That was a real ritual. Lost hunters actually did this. So yes, you can outsmart the forest. You cannot outsmart the water. Summer. Hottest week of the year, and the river is right there, cool and inviting. This is the one week when swimming was closer to a coin flip. Every body of water has a master, the Vodyanoy, a bloated old man with a green, slimy beard who rides a giant catfish and claims every drowned man as his servant. But he's not why this week is deadly. That's the Rusalki. Forget the mermaid. A Rusalka is a pale girl with loose green hair who sits in the branches over the river, singing, calling your name. And once a year, during Rusalka week, right after Trinity Sunday, they leave the water entirely, swing in the birch trees, dance on the bank. Any swimmer they catch, they tickle. To death. That's the canon. Death by tickling, at the hands of laughing girls in the trees. And now the first law comes back, because ask yourself, where does a Rusalka come from? She's a drowned girl, a bride who died before her wedding, a daughter who died unbaptized. Every Rusalka in that river is somebody's dead girl who left life the wrong way. And the village could name them. During Rusalka week, families left wreaths on the bank as gifts for their own dead daughters. We're halfway through the village, and if this is already darker than any monster list you've seen, that's a subscribe button right there, and I'd hit it now. Because in the second half, the dead stop hiding in rivers and start climbing out of their graves. Night falls again. One day survived. But the village's biggest fear was never the forest or the river. It was the cemetery at the edge of town. The Slavs sorted their dead into 2 kinds. The good dead, a full life, died in their own bed, became protective ancestors, like the Domovoy. And then the unclean dead. Suicides, murder victims, sorcerers, anyone who died before their time or without the rites. The earth itself was said to refuse their bodies. And the worst thing an unclean dead man could become was an Upyr. Yes, a vampire. And here's one for your next trivia night. This is the original. The word vampire entered Western languages from the Slavic world, centuries before any novel put a count in a castle. So forget the cape. The Upyr is your neighbor, the man you buried last Tuesday. He walks out of his grave looking almost like he did in life, goes to the house he knows, his own family first, and drinks their blood. And when a village hit a streak of unexplained deaths, they did the thing archaeologists keep digging up across Eastern Europe. Graves with an iron stake through the chest, or the skull cut off and placed between the knees, or a sickle across the throat, so if the body sat up, it would decapitate itself. Those burials are real. That's how seriously these people took death gone wrong. So update the rulebook. A bad life makes you a victim. A bad death makes you the monster. Rusalka, Kikimora, Upyr, same law, 3 uniforms. Which brings us to the endgame. 3 names remain, and all 3 live where the dead things live. Deep in the darkest part of the forest stands a hut on giant chicken legs, surrounded by a fence of human bones, skulls glowing on the posts. Its keeper is Baba Yaga, a bony witch who flies not on a broom, but in a giant iron mortar, rowing with a pestle, sweeping her tracks away behind her. Cartoons turned her into a joke, but here's what she actually is: a border guard. Her hut sits exactly on the line between the living world and the dead one, and you cannot cross without going through her. You say the password, hut. Turn your back to the forest and your front to me. The hut rotates, and then comes the interview. She might feed you, bathe you, hand you a magic ball of thread that rolls ahead and shows the way. Or she might decide your dinner. The oven is right there, and it's not for bread. Pass her checkpoint, and the road leads to the final bosses. In the mountains, Zmey Gorynych, the dragon with 3 fire-breathing heads, so huge the forest bends when he flies. The hero has to fight all 3 heads at once because they don't wait their turn. But the true final boss doesn't breathe fire at all. Koschei the Deathless, a skeletal sorcerer who cannot be killed. Stab him, burn him, drown him, nothing works. Because Koschei found a cheat code against death itself. He took his death out of his body and hid it. His death is on the tip of a needle. The needle is in an egg. The egg is in a duck. The duck is in a hare. The hare is in an iron chest buried under an oak on an island in the open sea. Want him dead? That's the quest chain, and only when you snap that needle does the immortal sorcerer crumble to dust. One hidden weak point on an unkillable enemy. Sound familiar? Every boss you've ever fought owes something to this bald skeleton man. And that's the full map, not a bestiary, a system. Every hour has an owner. Midnight belongs to the house spirits, noon to the lady in the rye, dusk to the forest, night to the walking dead. And almost every monster in it is a person the community lost the wrong way and never stopped fearing or missing. Other mythologies built monsters to explain thunder and volcanoes. The Slavs built theirs to explain something scarier. What happens when death goes wrong? That's why these creatures never made it into your games, and why they absolutely should. If you want the next region unlocked, drop a comment. Celtic, Chinese, or Aztec? Which mythology do we survive next? Subscribe so you're here when it drops. And sleep well tonight. Just maybe leave some bread by the stove. You know, for Grandpa.